The fans settling in here at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, getting ready for the start of tonight's game as we have a look at our starting goaltenders delivered by Papa John's Pizza.
Well, you take a look at the difference in the number of games played. Bakov has played but 4. He's won 2 of those, and Hawks won 7 of the 11 that he's appeared in. And Don Cooper behind the bench. For the Lightning, you see his record in the 3 seasons that he's played. Coach actually 2 and a bit. And Jet Capuano, you see that win record and number of wins, second to the great Al Arbour.
Dennis Leroux, who worked last night's game at the Garden, working with Dave Lewis. The referees, Don Henderson, Jay Shears, they also worked that game. As the Lightning beat the Rangers 5-1, we're underway. Calvin DeHaan on the Islander defense, working with Travis Hamonic. Ahead for Josh Bailey. He scored one of their 2 goals in the 5-2 Lightning win over New York at Amalie Arena on Saturday night. Puck comes to Evgeny Nabokov. He moves it along to Steven Stamkos. Stamkos coming off a 3-point night last night, and a dazzling move around Kyle Poso, flying into that zone, heads to the corner, fires right through the crease, and a bouncing puck comes out to Matt Carl. John Tavares takes it, and Carl has to turn back.
What a move that was. We've seen him make that move so many times, and he does it with such speed.
Well, he's now tied for 3rd in points at 22 behind Jake Voracek and Sidney Crosby. As the puck played in by Franz Nielsen. Carl moving it along. He's on for the moment with Andre Schuster. He's along with Nikita Kucherov trying to double team Nikolai Kulemin. Lightning come away with it. The pass to Tyler Johnson. Lobs it in behind the New York net. Andre Palat getting to it. He barrels into Lubomir Vishnevsky. Kucherov playing it back to Palat. And we saw in the highlights in the open the goal by Kucherov that started the scoring last night. As that line continues, very consistent play. They've picked up points in 10 of the 12 games they've been together.
Yeah, that's really consistent. Whoops, a little misdirection play there.
Alex Killorn, Jonathan Drouin bumping into each other. Now Drouin looking for an entry point. He's dumped by Anders Lee. Nick Leddy back with the puck, working with Johnny Boychuk, the 2 somewhat veteran defensemen. Acquired on October 4th by Garth Snow, Islander GM. They bring Stanley Cup experience to this team. And they're the plus-minus leaders, as well as leading this team in the power play as well, as we look at our keys to the game brought to you by your Southern Ford dealer.
First period is going to be very important, you know, because of that big emotional win last night, and the Islanders, of course, losing that game Saturday. They're going to be loaded for days, so the first period is important. And that 3rd man high, when the Lightning are playing really well defensively, that 3rd forward isn't down deep behind below the dots. He's up there high, and also he can get back quickly on the back check and stop a lot of rushes as well.
Radko Gudas with a shot. It hit Calvin DeHaan in the back. Hamonic's pass blocked by Ryan Callahan, one of the big stars last night, in his return to Madison Square Garden with a couple of goals. Gudas back for the puck.
Well, you can see kind of the changes now. It's looking like it's going to have Clutterbuck and Sutakis and Martin out against the Stamkos line.
Now you got Callahan and Hamonic pushing and shoving. Martin trying to get in there. Radko Gudas and Martin find each other. Gudas has just shed that full shield. Martin trying to get him to go here.
That's the point. That's what their whole... Think about it. They went right at Callahan right away. Both Martin and Sutakis, right away, they went after him. This is what they're trying to do. They're going to try to disrupt these guys right off the bat. They were swamped on Saturday night in Tampa. There it is right there. See Hamonic right there, Martin right there. You knew darn well what they were going to do. They weren't thinking about anything else.
Now they get Clutterbuck back. You mentioned him on a checking line with Casey Cizikas and Matt Martin. Now Boyle and Martin are talking to each other. And Clutterbuck, certainly a feisty type. He missed the game at Amalie Arena, injured the night before in the Panther game in South Florida. But he's back in, replacing Corey Conacher.
Civic Paquette opposing Clutterbuck, so that'll be interesting too.
Paquette moving to the left side to accommodate Brown's return to right wing on this line. With Morrow the healthy scratch. Play backed up by Clutterbuck. And behind to Cizikas. It's by his stick. Comes off the ledge of the boards to Paquette. Standing by is Jason Garrison, and J.T. Brown grabs the puck. Moving into Schuster. Got away from it. Clutterbuck throws a hit in there. And it comes all the way back wide of Yaroslav Halak. Halak had played that previous game against the Panthers, so he, on the second half of the back-to-back, rested. Chad Johnson suffered the 5-2 loss. But Halak coming in has won 4 in a row. He had back-to-back shutouts going into that Panther game. He's only given up 5 goals in the 4 games that he's won. So after a struggling start, Halak has settled in with his new team and playing very well in net for the Islanders. Now he's tangled up with Valtteri Filppula behind the net. It's poked free by Calvin Ahan. Tavares makes the play, finds Thomas Hickey, and out comes Kyle Okposo. And he had his pocket picked. Filppula got his wallet and his keys on that one.
He has been so good defensively this trip. He's tremendous as that third forward high against the Rangers.
Stamkos turned back here by Mikhail Grabovski. One of the free agents brought in by the Islanders. Veteran free agents. He was with the Capitals last year. Anton Stralman, very impressive in 25-plus minutes last night. 5 block shots. And obviously a big part of that victory at MSG and his return to New York. Franz Nielsen back to Hamonic.
One of the things that really kind of hurt the Lightning in the years past in this building has been that neutral zone. Islanders really, almost like New Jersey, they've really defended that neutral zone well and turned the puck over and had rushes going the other way. And this is what you're looking at. You want to see that neutral zone. See Filppula, you're talking about the third forward high. He does a very good job on that line. That's why he's able to get back and disrupt that rush.
Boy, he had a shift last night that culminated in the Stamkos breakaway goal. But he must have stolen at least 3 passes on that shift with the Rangers trying to come out of their own zone. Johnny Boychuk chased in there by Jonathan Drouin. And it's tapped down the ice by Brock Nelson. Gudas will get to it. His pass couldn't get by Ryan Strome. The drive missed the net. Boychuk for the point. And he drives it off Mark Barberio. Nabokov a save along the goal line there on Lee. Brock Nelson. He scored the other Islander goal the other night. Swings in front. His try was blocked by Vlad Nemestikov. Nelson hitting it out to Lee. Shoot! Saved by Nabokov. Took it off the chest. And he covers it up. Now they get Lee bumping at the side of the goal.
Well, there's going to be an awful lot of that extra because, you know, they're trying to get the Lightning off their game. We've seen that on a number of occasions, Rick, where a number of teams have come in and tried to use the muscle on them to try and slow them down.
They're a little upset, too, because they had their 5-game winning streak ended by the Lightning in a less than stellar performance. That certainly wasn't the Islander team that had built to that point an 11-5 record, and they've been off the last few days until tonight. Garrison throws it off the stick of Paquette. Look out at an Islander bench. Puck's out of play.
Yeah, there'll be some quick changes early in this game. And I would suspect, Rick, throughout the whole game, you want to get the quick changes after playing last night. That was a very emotional win. And not only does it take it out of you physically, but boy, when you're into that up really hard mentally and you're playing that game, you're really keyed up for the whole issue. It tires you out as well.
Lightning 2-2 in the second game of back-to-back situations so far this year. J.T. Brown works to get a puck, and it's taken over by Cizikas. Nick Leddy coming over from the Blackhawks. Boychuk from the Bruins. He plays it ahead to Clutterbuck, and he came up high, and Garrison is looking for a call. Brian Boyle leans in, backhands it to the goal mouth as he dispensed with Nick Leddy in the process. Cizikas couldn't get it in deep against Carl. Brown, who missed one other game this year, and that was after he was shaken up in Winnipeg. He missed the game in his hometown, or the home area anyway. The game in St. Paul. He was from near the Minneapolis area. We get a high sticking call here with Tavares checking to see if he's been cut. No score.
Scoreless so far in the first game, but Nabokov will pick up the first penalty of the game. High stick, you watch. His goal stick will come out and clip Tavares around the nose, and he'll pick up a high sticking call at 6:08. Islanders power play hasn't been as strong over the last while. 1 for 16 in the last 4 games.
Goalie with a high sticking penalty. You would never have done that, would you, Chief?
It was interesting to see now he kind of giving him a shot. He got in there on that puck carrier.
Steven Stamkos serving the penalty for the goaltender. Lightning surrendering a power play goal last night. They've killed 15 of the last 16 times short. Scotty Boychuk loading up. Doesn't have the opportunity to shoot. He fires down. Missed the net lightly. Carom off those end boards. And the Islanders get to it. Boychuk. 7 points on the power play. He's been a big addition in that department, and we mentioned he's a +6. Okposo feeds it in front. Deflected by Nielsen. Blocked by Carl. Islanders trying to keep it alive. It's cleared away by Matt Carl.
Remember that goal, one of the goals the Islanders scored was that deflection from the top part of the slot area. Just like there where Nielsen tried to do that, and it was deflected wide.
Okposo stopped in his tracks there by J.T. Brown. Here comes Nielsen into the zone. And Tavares steps around Boyle. And we'll get a penalty here for a hook to Brian Boyle. That will leave the Lightning 2 men short with 1:07 to go on the penalty to Nabokov.
Tampa Bay, number 11, 2 minutes hooking.
7:01, time of this play. Actually comes around, and there you see. Wasn't on the hands, it got him on the thigh. But all we ask is make sure it goes the other way.
John Tavares drawing 2 penalties and giving his team a chance at a final of 3 with about a minute to go. On the call, being served by Stamkos. They work it around to Ryan Strome. Now to Okposo. They've got Brock Nelson in front. Boychuk doesn't have the shot. The pass goes through the legs of Okposo. Andre Palat digging for it. Strowman furiously working for it. Islanders get it. Here's a pass across, and it's off the stick of Tavares. Comes back to Okposo. Giving it out of Strome. Out in front, Boychuk firing. Gets blocked there by Palat. Went free, though. Nelson fires. Put back on the save. A rebound is tipped in front. Great stop by Evgeny Nabokov. Lightning looked like they were going to get the clear. Okposo fires. That's deflected. Boy, Palat took another one. And the puck comes right to him. He's able to clear it and get off. And a chance to recover. 6 seconds to go in the first penalty. Lead pass to Strome. He walks it in. Fires it side of the goal. Can't try to stop by Nabokov. Fired by Grabowski. Save Nabokov. Covers it up. First penalty over. 50 seconds left on the Boyle penalty.
Boy, oh boy, tremendous play by Evgeny Nabokov. He's into this game very, very quickly, and they're shooting from everywhere. They're trying to come out from the corner and get it up. And you see right there a couple of chances that roll to them. They had 3 shots with the 2-man advantage.
Now Nabokov spending 3 seasons with the Islanders. He was instrumental in their dramatic run to the playoffs. In 2013, played 41 of the 48 games of the regular season in that lockout-shortened year, and they took on the Pittsburgh Penguins and really gave them a tussle in the first round.
And he's been looking forward to this game. He says it's always fun to play against a former team.
Face-off won by Nielsen, back to Leddy. Pressured by Cedric Paquette. Vishnowsky. Vlad Namestnikov getting a call here in the shorthanded unit. He played better than 2 minutes of shorthanded time last night. The puck comes his way, and he'll start it ahead after the block by Paquette. He's slowed up as he goes to the bench, shaken up.
That hurt his left foot.
Wishnowski. Now to Nielsen. Where the glass stanchions can be a factor in this building. That puck went around through. Nielsen playing it back to Leddy. Across to Wishnowski. 10 seconds on the penalty. Now to Nielsen. He'll feed it side of the goal. It ends up in the hands of Grabowski trying to slip it in front. And a good play by Garrison to tie up Josh Bailey. Boyle back on. Lightning at full strength. They survive a two-man short situation of better than a minute. To keep it scoreless here at Nassau Coliseum. A pass to Cizikas. Centers in front. It's by Bailey. Out comes Boyle. Forces Halak to handle it, and he deflects it over the glass into the netting.
Well, Chief Paquette still a little bit of pain there on the bench, but this is the block. It rolls right out to Lenny, and he sticks it right out. You see it. It looked like it got him on the left heel. There's not a whole lot of padding on those skates, especially there. So the toe's fine, not the heel.
Now a kick save. And as Marv Albert used to say, a beauty. But doesn't feel very beautiful right now for Cedric Paquette. Clutterbuck throws a hit on Gudas. And Barberio was sidetracked on the hit by Casey Cizikas. His physical line for Jack Capuano out now. DeHaan playing it off the board. Stamkos picking it up. Callahan stationed in front. To the hole. Barberio shooting. Taken away by DeHaan out in front. Islanders try to go on the attack. It's shoveled to the corner. Matt Martin meeting up with Gudas. Martin centers. Take it over. Out comes Callahan. Two Islanders stop him. DeHaan, a first-rounder for the Islanders. The same year Tavares was taken overall. Elba DeHaan taken 12th. Kulemin jammed up there by his opposite number, Nikita Kucherov. Kulemin got it free to Grabowski. Looks for traffic toward the net. Carl prevented that pass from getting there. And Kucherov tips it. Lightning get a change. And to settle things down here. Shots are 6-2 Islanders with that two-man advantage. And their usual energetic start. Certainly what the Lightning see in a steady diet here. Palat from a sharp angle. Can't maneuver against Hickey. Carl. His pass barely reaching strong and kept it in the zone. Bailey should be on a breakaway right now. Here's Johnson shooting. That's taken over. And Bailey does bust away now. Chased by Johnson. Shot disrupted. Down goes Bailey. Nabokov clears the puck.
Good play by Johnson. Wow.
Here's Tavares shooting a save by Nabokov. He squeezes those pads together and gets a whistle. 8:47 to go. The Lightning dodge a two-man disadvantage. And a near breakaway. It's time.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's Buick big matchup, and let's take a look at Nabokov and his record against the Islanders. Obviously, he has some pretty good numbers. That save percentage, excellent. 920, 1-7 of the 10 career starts, 237 goals against average. That goes along with 2 shutouts. And so far right now, he's been very, very good on the 7 shots he's faced so far, 3 of which came with a two-man advantage.
See the numbers he had in 3 seasons with the Islanders. Well, when he came to them, they probably thought, well, he can't be beating us anymore. Of course, he had spent all those years with the San Jose Sharks before moving on to the Islanders. Here's Leddy firing, gets tipped. Kept away from the net by Nabokov, and that was Brock Nelson with that deflection from the high slot. Harrison can't find the puck. It was over his head. Now as Drouin curls back to take it. Starts the play out to Killorn. He'll take on Leddy. 2 very good, powerful skaters there. Schuster following that play all the way to the corner. He's backed up by Drouin. Garrison tees it up and fires. Halak, 2, 3 saves. They score! Killorn stayed with it. Finally found room. And through the pads of Yaroslav Halak, the Lightning over the scoring.
Well, they had a number of chances there. They just kept whacking away, and that's something that they did very well against the Rangers, was that net presence. They keep the puck in. Good shot. Here's that first save, but he just couldn't control the rebound. And the third shot followed its way through the 5-hole as Halak was trying to get over to his right. His leg opened up. Watch it. It comes in off the inside of his left pad, and the Lightning have their first goal of the game.
last night. Scores his 4th of the season. He was scoring pretty well before he was injured. Missed 4 games with an upper body injury. He's come back and scoring very well. Tavares flying through. Touch to the middle. Saved by Nabokov. Cleared away by Stamkos, who put on a similar display earlier in the game. Hamonic. Pass hit Stamkos. Callahan over there. He'll force Hamonic back. DeHaan to center. Cruising into that Lightning zone. Backhand feed. Okposo gets to it. Trying to lose Stamkos. On the point, it's Hamonic firing, and it's deflected. I believe off Filppula went wide to the corner. DeHaan back down the boards for Tavares. Shovels it to Bailey. Loads up and fires, and he missed the net. He was waiting for some traffic to go by. Stamkos works to get it out. Islanders go for a change. 7 minutes to go. An action-packed first period. J.T. Brown gets to the puck. Try to center. Blocked by Vishnowsky. Stamkos looked to throw a check. Here's a drive by Gudas. Handled by Halak. He'll hang on.
Number 27, Jonathan Drouin. Top goal, 11:53. As a Lightning goal by 17, Philip is 4th.
Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey and Sons Sports is brought to you by Hat Trick. Great spot to start your evening off when you're going to a Lightning game. It's only 3 blocks from the arena. And finishing it off there as well. It's even better because you usually go there after a victory. So you're really happy and you can take some of that party that they call that. Also, those shake and bake wings are awesome.
Killorn works the puck free. Vishnowsky looking for an outlet. Hickey plays it. Martin tapped it ahead to Clutterbuck. He's paired up here with Gudas. 2 physical types. Clutterbuck turns, fires in front, reached Nabokov. He made a save. Barberio's stick held up there by Martin. Vishnowsky fires, and Nabokov billed into. We got a penalty upcoming to Martin for goaltender interference. He's going to protest. Lightning finally get one of these calls going their way.
Yeah, he'll come here at 13:50 or 42, excuse me. Watch this plays. He spins around and takes. He goes right up here. He goes into. He initiates contact rather. Before he had hit Nabokov before Martin and Barberio came together.
And so Martin gets up. He's upset. You saw Dennis LaRue explaining something to the penalty timekeepers. Yeah, I think Martin was upset. They were just showing the replay up on the video board here, and he was pleading innocent. Lightning 5 power play goals their last 6 games, 1 of 3 at the Garden last night. Hamonic clears it out. Lightning 24.2%, 6th in the rankings. Islanders, as we mentioned Saturday night, penalty killing has been probably the one weak area for this team. Under 74%, 27th in the rankings. Hamonic doesn't waste any time, gets another clear.
You know, you really try to get that puck and carry it in, but when you have to chip and go for it, you got to really get there quickly.
Lightning goal, Killorn is 4th from Jason Garrison. Jonathan Drouin, who's top 10 among rookies in scoring when you consider, Chief. Late start for him of the season, hasn't played a whole lot. He's been gathering in the points, though, at goal at 11:53. Here's Garrison. He and Strawman man the point. Stamkos. Callahan near the net. Filppula on the near side. Callahan gets it back for Stamkos. Stamkos fires. Saved by Halak. Rebound is controlled by Boychuk and cleared out.
Stamkos had Filppula open on the near wall here, but he had to go through 3 sticks to get there. He chose not to. Wise decision.
38 seconds to go, and the penalty to Matt Martin. Former line mate of Stammer and Junior at Sarnia. Puck worked free. Now Nelson without a stick. Kucherov tried to get it back on the point. He gets shouldered by Bailey. Drouin reaching in there for it. And coming out, it's Palat. Johnson open. Waits to Palat. Couldn't get organized for the shot. Tied up by DeHaan. Johnson angles it behind to Kucherov. Carl around to Johnson. Feeds it now side of the goal. It's Drouin. Carl back to Drouin. Closing in. Look for a friendly stick. It's knocked back to him now as Martin leaves the box. Penalty. Oh, and it's set just wide by Kucherov. Wow. DeHaan gets it out. He'll sail the puck over the shoulder of Martin. Racing for it there with Carl. Spun it out in front of Kucherov. Right in front to clear that puck away. Zizekas hammers it in. Carl reverses. Under 4 to go here in the first.
Yeah, they did a good job. They got 2 shots on goal, and they finally got the puck inside the Islanders zone. And when they get that in the zone, they're a very difficult thing to get the puck away from.
Puck relay to Zizekas. Swings to the middle. He waits. He shoots a save to Bakov. Once again, traffic in there. Penalty upcoming. Delayed call. And Gudas touches the puck. Martin and Gudas once again involved with the Bakov. And the penalty coming.
Well, you're seeing J.T. Brown in the penalty box. Lightning shorthanded for the 3rd time. Inoffense is the call. Watch this. Right hand of your screen. He kind of took out Martin, who just went right into the goaltender. And Brown will pick up an interference call at 16:32.
Ryan Boyle on to try to win this face-off and get things started the Lightning's way. Nemesnikov paired with him. Brown, his usual partner. And Nemesnikov reaching into that scrum, got it free. Strawman finishes the job.
Number 23, J.T. Brown, 2 minutes for interference at 16:32. That's the Lightning's number 23, Brown, 2 minutes.
Islanders in the season, 19.1%. On the power play, Lightning a little under 81% to start. Here's Boychuk across. Oposo wise. Fires to Bakov. 2 saves there. He made a stop down low on Nelson. Islanders hold it in. Nelson parked in front. They work it back around to Boychuk. John Tavares looking for Nelson. Pass was tipped. Nelson working it back to Tavares. Right there, Boyle took it away, banks it out. Lightning a change here with 1:08 to go in the penalty.
I'll tell you what, 11 shots by the Islanders, and the Bakov saves his best saves on him when they've had the power play.
Oposo rifles it in off one of those glass stanchions, hit the side of the goal, cleared away by Tyler Johnson. 50 seconds remaining on the penalty. 38-year-old Wisnowski with a pass, and it's deflected. Andre Palat, who blocked a couple of shots in that 3-on-5. Getting a stick in the right spot there. Leddy overskates the puck now as Strome will send it across to Bailey. Wisnowski room to walk in and fire, and he blasts it wide. And it comes right out for Palat. He and Johnson. Johnson tips it in. They'll peel off at a change. 13 seconds to go in the Brown penalty. Grabowski into that zone. His pass hit Philpott, a bounce back to center. Wisnowski pressured here by Stamkos. Much less eventful Islander power play as it ends with Brown returning. Zizekas trying to get it behind Barberio. That didn't work. He'll throw it back to his defense. 1:15 to go in the first period. Puck deflected in by Martin. Handled by Nabokov for Mark Barberio. Returning to action last night. Helped out by Gudas. Got it up the boards, but not too far. DeHaan missed it out. Hamonic down the boards. Wrists it toward the net. Steered away by Nabokov. Stamkos controls. Now tied for the league lead in goals with Nash and Sagan with 12 on the season after scoring against the Rangers last night. Gudas, long pass, and it's deflected by Palat. Comes down to DeHaan, held in by Palat. 32 seconds to go in the period. Hamonic. Pass ahead for Anders Lee. Disrupted by Carl, and the play goes offside. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers First Intermission Report. Here's what's coming up. Todd Callis, Chris Damon will visit with Jason Garrison. Preview tonight's premiere of Inside the Lightning of new bolts. Jason Garrison, one of those new bolts featured. Highlights and stats as well coming your way. Boy, what an impact Garrison's had, Chief.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. You take a look, and one of the keys things is where he moves the puck so quickly out of your zone. That's the thing that's really good about it.
+2 last night. He's now in double figures at a +10 on the season. An icing call here against the Lightning with 15.7 to play in the period. The defense as a whole, a +8 last night. It was just solid from front to back, top to bottom.
Yeah, you know, you talk about Lightning have done a really good job of blocking shots over the last few games, and I thought the first 40 minutes they were incredible.
Only allowed 5 shots in the third period. John Cooper noted that this morning, and really impressed with how they bottled up the Rangers and just prevented them from coming back. Brown was spilled. A penalty upcoming to the Islanders with 7.8 seconds to go in the period, and it's Hickey who heads off.
Watch as they're racing for that speed. There you see him come right across and take him out of the play to allow his partner to come across and pick up the puck, Wisnowski. So Lightning will most likely finish this power play at the start of the second.
Doug Weight, you saw to the right of Capuano, assistant coach and assistant GM. Long time. Outstanding NHL player. Face off one by Stamkos. Then in front, Stamkos fires, saved by Halak, trying to find that rebound. So it's Callahan, and they're going to run out of time. Close call for Halak and the Islanders there. Jason Garrison involved. Alex Killorn scored the only goal of the period. Lightning killed 3 penalties, including a 2-man disadvantage of better than a minute. And they withstand what's usually a very difficult first period for them in this building and take a 1-0 lead to the locker room. Welcome back to the Nassau Coliseum. 1-0 Lightning leading on the Alex Killorn goal through 20 minutes of play. The Holy Hog Barbecue Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 barbecue sandwiches, 2 sides, and 2 sodas for all Monday and Tuesday games. Packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. And we've got some Lightning fans in the house, and obviously the guests of honor at MSG last night honored there on that sign by those young ladies. And Chief, talking about this first period of Getty Nabokov. Now, he hasn't played in 10 days. This is only his second game in the last 12 games. Not something he's used to, but he's looking very sharp.
He's very good. And, you know, one of the things he said the hardest part about it is getting into the flow from practice to games. So you get into a flow in practice, it's not the same as getting into a flow in the games. But tonight he's really made that transition extremely well. He looks very, very sharp in there so far.
Is there something about his play that you look for to see if he's on it in terms of being with the flow of the game?
Yeah, well, how he tracks the puck, Rick. You know, you have to watch that goaltender. If he's following the puck and he's not surprised by where it's going, but he has a pretty good idea, like 98% of the time, where it is and where it's going, then you know that he's right on his game. When he's struggling is when you can't find the puck and he's surprised a lot by shots.
Well, Nabokov, his last appearance, a 7-4 win in Columbus. Here's our chase review. The shots favoring the Islanders. Of course, they were peppering Nabokov on those power plays, particularly the 2-man advantage. And the Lightning getting through those situations pretty well the last couple of nights, blocking 5 shots, and they have certainly excelled in that area over the last 6-7 games, averaging almost 20 a game. And the Lightning, with that goal by Killorn, now have doubled up their opponents in the first period this season. Very impressive. And they start this second period with 1:52 remaining on the call against Thomas Hickey for interference. So the Lightning on their second power play chance. Valtteri Filppula hands the puck off to Stralman. Strawman and Garrison behind Stamkos, Filppula, and Ryan Callahan. Long pass for Stamkos. That was broken up. Islanders were waiting for that one. Strawman the center, trying to curl it back. It's taken over. Clutterbuck in the steal. Fires, scores! A short-handed goal has tied the game up at 1.
Gap between your D and your forwards is really high. You got two of their players in between it, and they're right on the puck carrier. So everybody tries that drop pass when the guy comes late, and everybody's reading it right well. And Clutterbuck certainly did that there. As he picked up number 2 on the year, shorthanded.
Kuhlman's got 2 shorthanded goals for them this year as Matt Carl starts it ahead. Drouin will poke it in the zone. Halak plays it to the corner. Lightning pile in there with 3 players. Drouin, Kucherov, who comes out with it, as well as Andre Palat. Johnson back to Carl, wristing it. It's off Nielsen, and he deflects it into the netting out of play with 48 seconds to go in the call to Hickey.
His second of the season, unassisted. Time 39 seconds.
39 seconds in, and well, I'll tell you what, you always want to keep that good start. We talked about that early in the Ranger game, is trying not to allow a goal early. And
here's Johnson, fires it front, directed wide by Drouin. Palat gets it back to Tyler Johnson. Now up top to Carl, who played better than 9 minutes in the first period. Johnson shooting, it's blocked by Hamonic. Palat positioned down low. Johnson, and it worked free from behind by Strome. Hamonic couldn't get it by Drouin, and now it's hooked to center. 18 seconds to go in the penalty. Palat had it ripped off his stick by Calvin DeHaan. He'll hammer it around the boards. Andre Schuster playing it back to Palat. Lightning have to regroup at center. Stamkos circling out of the box. Comes Hickey. The puck comes right to him, and Stamkos trips him up. Islanders with a shorthanded goal, and now they go on the power play as we're tied at 1.
1:57 will be the time of this penalty. And boy, not only does we always talk about what can really change the complexion of a game. A good penalty kill definitely does it. Of course, if you score short-handed, that's even better. That's what the Islanders did now. Right away, they get a man advantage. This is a key kill for the Lightning.
Boyle wins the faceoff. Garrison getting it to Nemestikov. He's checked by Tavares. And some support from Boyle. That allows the Lightning to clear it out. And Nemestikov with his great speed getting through that puck first. He'll take on Boychuk and Apuso. Chief, the Lightning are finding more roles for these young players. And Nemestikov now just is added to the roster of penalty-killing possibilities up front for them.
Well, the thing is, that's the key thing about it. You got young guys, so obviously you have to.
Here's Nelson shooting the puck off the save, controls the puck and gets a whistle.
You have 9 guys out there 24 or under, so you got to let them get their feet wet sometime. And I like when you know that you're going to work them in too early in the year rather than late in the year. This is a big save by Gabarkov. Boy, all alone in there. He had that puck lined up, though. If you watch, he got left-handed shot. He was on the puck, not the body. So he tried to go short side, and he made the easier save.
Strawman clears it down the ice. Now J.T. Brown steps on. And it took a little work, much like Nemestikov now, Chief. And they developed a pretty good penalty killer in J.T. Brown.
Yeah, they get that confidence that they can do it. That's the key.
Certainly they have the speed to cover ground. Oposo's shot is deflected away. Carl blocks a try, and Brown clears it out. 53 seconds to go in the Stamkos penalty. Stammer in the box early on. He was serving a penalty for Nabokov. Here's a steal. Killorn is stopped as Halak had the puck Bounce off his stick. He had the paddle down and made the save. Killorn nearly answered with the Tampa Bay shorthanded goal. Strome. Palat steals and clears.
Well, that's the key. That is to not allow that team to get in and set up. That's a big factor in a successful penalty killing.
18 seconds to go on the Lightning penalty. Here's Leddy from the angle. He looked for Strome's stick and just missed it. Bailey now tripped up, lost his stick. Strowman save with Strome. Wisnowski from the point, across to Leddy. Back to Wisnowski. Now to Grabowski. The penalty's over. Grabowski wrists it in front. Is tipped wide by Leddy, who was cruising through. So the Lightning kill another penalty with Stamkos on. Backdoor to Leddy. Saved by Nabokov. Palat got it free. Out for Stamkos. Racing for it. His stick wins out against Wisnowski. Takes on Leddy. Grabowski takes it. He'll hoist one to center. Knocked down by Barberio. We're past the 4.5-minute mark here in the second period. Islanders have a shorthanded goal to tie it up at 1.
Very, very assertive on this penalty kill. And watch what Alex Killorn came out and tried to jam him. A shorthanded goal from the short side. Does an excellent job of staying on it.
And Boychuk goes 225. Killorn just moved him right off the puck. Hamonic chipping it. Barberio couldn't get a stick on it. Gudas back for Mark Barberio. Plays it for the waiting Stamkos. And a rifle at 3 Clutterbuck skates taken by Filppula. Filppula was the man of the moment here last December. The Lightning's only visit to Nassau Coliseum. They had gone winless in 5 trips to this building, and it looked like it was going to be winless in 6. He scored with 3 minutes to go to make it a 2-1 game, and then 3 seconds to go, he tied it, and the Lightning won in extra time. Nabokov a save, and he holds.
Yeah, that was a tremendous. It looked like the Islanders were just going to cruise to that win, and 51 just did his magic. That was when he was so good with the penalty, or the shootouts as well. He was scoring all the time he had a hold of the puck.
And they won in that shootout. All 3 games went to shootouts last year with the Islanders. The Lightning winning 2 of them. They'll be back here at Nassau Coliseum on December the 20th. Here's a shot that just missed the net by Nielsen. And once again, it will be the second half of a back-to-back. The Lightning will be in New Jersey on Friday the 19th. And Johnson nearly coming up with a steal. But Palat does. And Johnson turns on the backhand. Gets it on goal. Palat the stop. And he grabs that puck before Kucherov could get in there.
Well, you see, Halak was moving to Kucherov right away and had that play gotten through to him. Halak was right there, but he was fortunate enough, too, that he didn't move too quick. Watch on how he's moving, because you see his body. It was already turned to Kucherov, expecting that pass. Watch the goaltender as he comes in. See that body's flattened out? Usually you stay square to the puck if you're taking the shot. And he was waiting for that pass, but it came at him for the 5-hole, and he was quick to recover.
Both these goalies more the conventional size. Chief. Halak 5'11", 186. Abby goes 6 feet tall. It's a 2-on-1. Nelson cutting in, waiting. Grabs it on goal. Nabokov a save, and he stopped Lee on the rebound. Lee has it back. Puck got away. Lightning grab it there, and Alert Nemestikov controls it. Strome launched him into the boards. Gudas has the puck. Out for Drouin off his skate. Abby's 6 feet, about 200 pounds. Now it seems like every goalie, and Ben Bishop heads the class at 6'7", 6'5" or taller.
I think there's teams that won't draft goaltenders that are under 6'1" or 6 feet for sure.
Hamonic leaning in. And his try was just chipped away. Nemestikov and Gudas combined to stop him. Nick Leddy, former Wild first-rounder, and they gave up on him almost immediately, sent him to the Blackhawks, and he won a Stanley Cup in 2013. Hamonic with it. Letty starts it out. Bailey deflects it in. Nabokov checks the traffic. Bailey down the boards to Tavares. Puck got away. Pull out on the seam. Poked along. And it's fed back to DeHaan. He was pressured. Here's Brown with a pass to Boyle. Broke it up as Letty was there. Brown has it. Swings wide. Checked by Hickey. Carl will drive it back in. Thomas Hickey, former Kings high pick. He absorbed quite a hit from J.T. Brown. Letty held up by Boyle at the line. Carl right there to steal the pass intended for Bailey. Carl ahead for Palat. And Carl got belted by Cizikas. He's been hitting everything that moves out there.
Must be the air up here because we couldn't even find him on Saturday night.
Cizikas with a pass ahead for Clutterbuck. Matt Martin on a search and destroy mission in there. He's led the league in hits the last 3 years. And he's number 1 right now. Here's Schuster with a pass ahead to Filppula. Goes it into open ice and reaches Schuster. Coming back Stamkos. He's got Visnovsky right on him. Martin checked by Schuster. Cizikas in for the puck. Callahan mans up with him. Carl slipped in there. Schuster has it. Bothered by Martin. Filppula looks up ice. Makes the pass. He finds Stamkos. Callahan driving the net. Stamkos the shot off the glove of Halak. Rebound fumbled away by DeHaan. Barberio down the board. Stamkos with it. Barberio sends it back to the goal. Killorn with fresh legs steaming in there on DeHaan. Pass ahead for Kulemin. He's forced to make an extra move by Filppula at the line. That throws the play offside. We're tied at 1. 11:05 to go in the second. Here's tonight's great moment in hockey history brought to you by Geico. This day in 2010, the Lightning tied a team record for most combined goals in a single period as they took on the Flyers. Philly led 5-4 after 1 period, 9 goals. The Flyers only got 2 more. The Lightning would pile up a few, including a hat trick from Steven Stamkos. He had 5 points altogether, and they went on to an 8-7 win. It would be the most goals the Lightning would score, as well as the most they would give up in a single game all season long. What a night that was, Chief.
I think Nate Thompson was the one that finally got the winner, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Crowd just applauded Steve Thomas, returning hero. 40-goal season as a member of the Islanders. He's on some pretty good teams, including that 93 team that upset the Penguins in the playoffs. And, of course, now Stumpy on the Lightning bench.
He could score. Boy, he was a good goal scorer. Good shot. Good release.
Johnson bodied there by Letty. Pass nearly picked off by Kucherov. Barberio couldn't get it down the boards against Kulemin. Managed to get it across. Here's Palat shooting. Saved by Halak. Great puck movement there by the Lightning. Kulemin getting it back to Gudas. He was concentrating on keeping Grabowski away from that puck. Nielsen walks in, fires. Gudas tipped it wide. Kucherov. Pass well behind Johnson. Lightning gets set up in the neutral zone. Barberio there to protect the blue line. Visnovsky threw it in the legs of the linesman. Comes back to Hickey. Oposo. Down the boards to Tavares. Finds backdoor room for Hickey. A shot tipped away. Boyle got there. Here comes Killorn. Just getting word that Cedric Paquette, with a lower body injury, presumably in blocking that shot, will not return. Here's a shot. It's deflected past a screen to Halak. Brown down the boards. Around to Stroman. Angle to Brown. Killorn takes it on the cycle. Hickey grabs it. Brown once again thumps him. Must have been something he said.
Yeah, he's rattled him a couple of times.
Puck knocked free. It's still up for grabs. Brown with his speed, directly getting to it from point A to B, jamming it in front. A save by Halak. Stopped the rebound on Stamkos. Covers it up. Lightning threatening around that Islander net. It's tied at 1.
We were tied here in the second period. 8:56 remains to be played. Let's take a look at the Lightning's upcoming schedule presented by Steak and Shake. And the Lightning, after tonight's game, will jump on a plane and head up to Toronto, where they'll play the Leafs on Thursday. Back home for a couple, as you see there, the Wild, then the Rangers, then the Senators, and then back up to the city to play the New York Rangers again.
Nabokov fires the puck in front of his own open net. Got it across. Stamkos and Strawman going for it there. And that game of the Leafs, only the Lightning's 5th Atlantic Division game of the first 23 on the schedule. So they're going to be seeing a lot of those Atlantic Division opponents down the stretch. Here's Strawman backhanding it on goal, and Halak makes the stick save. A lot of teams seem to be playing just a couple of opponents frequently, Chief. The Islanders play a home-and-home with the Penguins after tonight. Tavares shooting, and it's tipped out of play by Strawman. Rangers seeing a lot of the Flyers in the next few games, as well as the Lightning. The Corona tailgate package scores you 2 tickets, 2 sandwiches, 4 Coronas for all Saturday home games. Lightning home against Minnesota this week. Packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Right now, it's getting to be a very closely checked game here. Not a lot of scoring chances. 18-15 shot totals favoring the Islanders.
Johnson won the draw. Palat carries it out. Joined by Schuster. Big fella played so well against the Rangers last night. He'll chase that play in deep. Grabowski. Johnson bodies him to the boards.
Great play by Johnson.
Wisnowski fires. Oh, it's off the puck, off, deflected away. He just got a piece of that one. Oposo slowed up by Johnson. Pass now to Nielsen. Winding. They score! Nielsen fakes the shot. That creates an open net. Grabowski scores, and it's 2-1 Islanders.
12-23, really good pick retrieval by the Islanders. They really fought hard to get it, to keep it in the zone. Then that quick looked like a shot. Everybody was waiting for the shot. Grabowski showing his really good hands as he took that hard pass and had the open net to give the Islanders their lead. It's Grabowski's 4th of the season.
He had 13 in 58 games with the Capitals last year. Puck worked free by Gudas. Here comes Killorn in the zone. Hands it off to Nemestikov. Lightning 1-0 lead has turned into a 2-1 deficit now with 7:20 to go in the second period. Barbarian circles, cuts to the middle. Couldn't quite get the shot away. Boy, he had a moment of daylight there. Zizekas bumped him. Clutterbuck leads it. Martin couldn't get a shot away. Gudas kicks it free. Hickey's pass. Reaching Clutterbuck. He hit the side of the goal. Matt Martin has it. Fires in front. Clutterbuck was checked by Drouin, who disrupted the shot just enough.
Nielsen and Oposo get the assist on that goal. What a pass by that Nielsen goal. It's a heads-up play, but, you know, it's a twofold. It was a really heads-up play, a fake shot, but the pass was extremely hard, and Grabowski took it like Nielsen was shooting it into a two. Nice soft hands, was able to fire an open net, and it's a 2-1 Islander lead.
Leddy carries it in deep against Jonathan Drouin, who keeps the feet moving. Nemestikov over for the puck. He's met there by DeHaan. Islanders have developed a top line with Oposo and Tavares clicking. Here's a try by Strome. They score!
This is what hurts the Lightning in this building. They'll give up goals in bunches instead of just coming back given up 3 straight goals here in the third. 15-26. Not just a little over a minute later, you take a look coming by and taking that quick shot. And the shot went off of Gudas's stick to ski jump over top of Nabokov. So Strome will pick up the goal.
2 goals and 103 for the Islanders. To break a 1-1 deadlock and take a 3-1 lead. Kulemin curls it in. Nabokov out to play it. Tavares right on him. Worked it free. Nabokov fought his way through traffic to get back in goal. That shot is blocked. Tavares has it. And here's a try. Nelson was stopped there by Nabokov, and it hit the side of the goal. Bounced out of play. Well, the Islanders are smelling blood here in the second period.
And the Lightning have not had an answer for them. You've got to kind of eliminate players. You don't have to really hit them hard. Just eliminate them for not allowing them to get back into play. We're seeing a lot of give-and-go action here for the Islanders in the Lightning zone.
You can see DeHaan, the only assist on the strong goal, going to Calvin DeHaan, and getting after that puck, it's Kulemin. Adding more depth to the forward lines. Talking about that Tavares line now, they've got a strong second line and even deeper on this team. With the free agent signings, here's Stamkos. Just by the blade of his stick. Tap to the point, Carl kept it alive. Stamkos digs for it. We've seen the Lightning protecting leads quite a bit lately, and they've done an excellent job with it. Now they find themselves 2 goals down with 5.5 to go in the second. Long pass ahead to Tavares. Spins on Carl. He doesn't give an inch. DeHaan. He'll play it behind the net. A diving play. Stole the pass by Strome. He's double teamed in that corner, but he's helped out by Carl.
Now you get calm things down as we're doing. They're waiting for the full line change. But the problem you get sometimes when you got those 2 guys up on stretch passes, you got the Islanders got 3 guys in between.
Boyle's working with Killorn and Brown. Hands it off to Schuster, fires, and it's kicked away by Nielsen. Schuster holds that play in for a moment. It's finally chipped out over him. And Brown directs it in. Keeps it in against Hickey. Boyle with a quick shot. A save. Halak. Here's a drive. Garrison. Halak is saved there. Schuster back to Garrison. A rip one. A block by Nielsen. A dangerous one as he dove in front of that one. And the play held in for Brown. Finds Killorn. Tried to one-time it. From a tough angle. It skimmed off his stick. He's got it. Out to Garrison. Quick shot. That's blocked by Nielsen. Didn't know he had it. Killorn got it loose. Rabowski scampers after it. Speeds ahead. Stopped by Johnson as he dumps it in.
Boy, good session. Best session of the period for the Lightning over the last minute or 2.
Schuster playing it to Garrison. He assisted on the Killorn goal. Kucherov across to Johnson. He penetrates with Palat. The shot is steered away by Hamonic. Clutterbuck bumping there with Kucherov. At the point, it's Gudas firing. Glove by Halak. He'll get a whistle. 3:38 to go in the second period. Islanders scored twice in a little over a minute, and they lead 3-1.
Wow, 2 quick goals by the Islanders to give them this 2-goal lead. The Lightning came back very quickly, though. You take a look at this play. Stamkos to Filppula. You talk about this game being a game of inches. Watch this pass coming here, and it just reached Filppula's stick as he had that wide open net to redirect it. That would have been a big goal for the Lightning to get back within 1. Take some of the steam off the Islanders' attack.
Tavares pulls the puck back to Lenny. Tavares gave it up. Kucherov lurking in that zone along with Palat and Johnson. Kucherov protecting the puck. It's a 2 Palat. Fires in behind to Kucherov. Back to Johnson. Now joined by Gudas down the boards. Keeps it moving to Johnson. To the point of Barberio firing. Missed the net. It's off the back of the goal. Now it's dislodged with Gudas pushing it off the peg, and the faceoff comes to center. The Little Caesars Family Fun Pack scores you 4 tickets, 4 pizzas, 4 ice creams, and 4 sodas. For all Saturday and Sunday home games, packages start as low as $100. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. And then once again, Minnesota coming in Saturday night at 7. Stamkos on, pursuing DeHaan. Pass out of Bailey's reach. He's still able to tap it in. Carl matched up with Strome. Strome and belted by Lee, who goes 227 pounds. Out of Notre Dame. Great all-around athlete by all accounts. He could have been the answer at quarterback for Notre Dame. Strome battling with Callahan. Stamkos picks it up. Islanders back against Filppula, and Stamkos. Filppula shooting, and it's just wide. He looked to the heavens there. He thought he had a little room, just missed. Waiting for Stamkos to get onside, and Callahan's now ahead of the play.
Well, the success of these teams, they've had pretty good balance in their scoring. When you take a look at that, the Lightning have 8 players with 10 or more points coming into the night. Only 2 other teams have had that. Boston, Washington are the other 2. And the Islanders have 6 players that have 10 or more points. So they're getting a lot of scoring up and down the lineup.
Yeah, they really created their depth with all the free agent signings and trades. We ran it down Saturday night. 7 new veteran players joining the Islander organization. The Lightning more organic, certainly, in developing the youngsters, like an Alex Killorn, who's out there now. Nielsen playing it down the boards. He's just going to get it by Poso. Nevertheless, Garth Snow, Steve Yzerman, outstanding off seasons, and in fact are inside the Lightning edition that will premiere tonight. We'll run down those new players brought in by Steve by trade and by signing that have really rounded out this lineup. Here's Killorn shooting. Save. Halaki just got his right shoulder on that. Garrison's try is blocked. Nemesnikov kept it on the line, says Don Henderson. Hickey met in the corner by Killorn. Nemesnikov with it. Hangs on to it. 1:13 to go here in the second. Lightning would love to get one back before the intermission. Gudas in deep. Connects with Brown. Reaching back for it now. Killorn reaches the slot. Brown takes his time, patiently working it back to Killorn. Hickey digs in against him. Nemesnikov trying to get it. And finally, Oposo works it out.
Good play. They worked hard in there. That tires the team out defensively.
Lightning a +7 goal differential in the third period. They're going to have to use that as a springboard to bring some confidence into the third period of this game. 27 seconds to go in the second period. Down 3-1. Leddy. Out for Martin. Checked by Gudas. And Gudas trying to get under his skin a little bit. Cizikas out in front. Pass save to Markov. Down goes Cizikas, and we're going to get a penalty to the Lightning. And now we get play halted. It looked like they were going to hold it when Palat controlled the puck. Martin was storming into that corner. But it will be the Lightning to pick up the minor penalty. The hooking indication given there with 5.3 to go in the period, and Palat heads off.
It got to be started out as a chipping game, and then settled down.
Tampa Bay, 2 minutes looking.
See where the hook happens right here as he's taking him out. The guy fell down, but nonetheless he had his stick on his hip. 1954 will be the time of this penalty. Their 5th.
And they win the face-off. The shot knocked down in front. It's backhanded by Tavares, and the horns down. So the Islanders win that face-off to get a last-second opportunity. J.T. Brown will join Todd and Chris at the intermission as we look ahead to our Gulf Coast Honda Dealers second intermission report. They'll take you around the league. Busy night in the NHL tonight. And highlights and stats coming your way as well. The Lightning killing the bulk of this penalty when the third period gets underway. Down a couple of goals. Welcome back to Nassau Coliseum. Last season of Islanders hockey in this building. And the Islanders right now a 3-1 lead to start the third period. We have a look at the Chase review, Chief.
Yeah, that Lightning, you see the scoring chest is pretty even. Power plays haven't been working at all for either club. And when you take a look at the block shots, one of the things that has been in the Lightning's favor, the Islanders have given the puck away 11 times, and the Lightning have taken it away 6. So you think the score would be reversed when you give that many giveaways and takeaways. You usually work out for the other team.
Evgeny Nabokov in his return to Nassau Coliseum, trailing by 2, and the hill gets a little steeper for the Lightning, and the fact that Andre Palat in the penalty box for hooking, and 1:54 to go on that penalty, and it's the 5th Islander power play this game. Certainly, Chief, the Lightning have shown, while they have not trailed often in the third period, and certainly not by 2 goals, the firepower to get this done.
Yeah, they really do. They're an excellent third period team. And amongst the leaders in third period goals with 22.
Vishnofsky, as the Islanders get the power play set up in the Lightning zone, they're able to hold it in for Frans Nielsen. Brock Nelson with 4 shots in this game. Oposo finding Nelson. Oposo moving it back out to Vishnofsky. Nielsen. Now to John Tavares down low. Vishnofsky, the shot, they score!
It was deflected in front by Nelson.
He was positioned down in front. And actually, that's his 7th shot on goal.
Donald come in from the point, watch 29 in the middle of your screen. He just redirects it. At the 36-second mark, so they scored a shorthanded goal at the 39-second mark in the second period. They score a power play goal here in the third at the 36-second mark. Special teams have been the difference for the Islanders.
Lightning down 4-1. Pass cut off by Martin. Schuster's got to head back for it. Stamkos gives it down to Valtteri Filppula, and he'll play it in. Halak leaving it for Calvin DeHaan. A +2 to start this period. Clutterbuck threw himself into Garrison. It's back into center. Martin getting to it for the Islanders. Cuts it against Schuster. DeHaan had it poked away by Ryan Gallagher. Fired across for Bailey. Bailey fires in front, and it's tipped away and out to center. Lee trying to chip it in the zone. He ends up putting it in the stands, out of play.
That's 2 big goals at the start of the period. Really puts you behind the 8 ball. There's a start of 3 straight goals in the second period for the Islanders. And now, 4 unanswered goals and keeping the Islanders at 4-1 lead. Power play shorthanded, 2 even strengths.
Gudas sends it in deep in the zone. Kucherov won the race, and there's no icing. Now Leddy knocked down near the side of the goal. Gudas handing it off to Tyler Johnson, wristing it in front. It hit Palat. It's played ahead, and Ryan Strome trying to get to it. He'll reach it. Strome tried to center, and Gudas blocked the pass. Bailey behind the lead. They give the goal to Vishnofsky.
Assistant number 51, Frans Nielsen, number 91, John Tavares.
Nielsen and Tavares will get the assist on it, so that's the initial call on that goal. There's Kucherov trying to step in. He's stopped. Palat swings wide, tried to center it, does so again, and Leddy's stick prevented that from reaching Kucherov. Lightning buzzing now, trying to create something. Kucherov across. Carlson, they score! Palat bets it in. Carl's first try was on net, and Palat follows up. It's a 4-2 game.
Boy, 214 again, getting that net presence. Very, very quickly. Palat picks up a goal. It's been a while, but a nice pass by Kucherov. Then the quick shot and the rebound. Not really a flying rebound. It kind of dropped right down, but Palat was very quick to get there to get the ball.
Palat's fifth. And that line continues to produce points and goals for the Lightning. Stroman checked in the zone by Nielsen. Lightning still with plenty of time, down 2, 17.5 minutes to go in the third. The pass picked off. Grabowski can't get a shot away. Lightning converge. He still has the puck. Calaposo with it. Worked away by Killorn. Wishnowski clears the puck. Comes back to Hickey. Oposo trying to get in behind Drouin. Oposo controls and he fires it wide. He's a pretty good package at about 217 pounds. Grabowski able to hold it in for Tavares. DeHaan shot. Blocked it away. Nabokov is safe. Grabowski got it in front. Lightning get it out of a tough spot. Nabokov was reaching to cover that puck, and Nemestikov and the Lightning clear it.
Those passes, when you're up close to the blue line going backwards, you got to be really aware of where the other team is.
Tavares on a turnover starts it in with Nelson. Now Kuhlman ridden off the play by Callahan. He works to get the puck back. Filppula. Nelson on his knees sliding back into his own zone. Trying to help the Islanders get control of the puck again. Tavares tips it in. And Nabokov leaving it for Garrison. He's pressured. Schuster checking out his options. Goes back to his veteran partner as we near the 4-minute mark of the period. Garrison steps ahead and shoots it in. Schuster follows up. Beats up with Boychuk. Cizikas trailed by Brown. And Cizikas dumps it in. He'll challenge Barberio. Puck comes to Brown. Schuster trying to step ahead with it. Playing it now to Killorn. His shot is directed away by Boychuk, but here's Boyle behind the net. Big body. Boychuk trying to outmuscle it. Killorn worked it free. He sheds Cizikas. Looking for Brown. Comes out to the point. Barberio kept it alive to Killorn. Gudas with a shot, and it reached Halak. Skims by Boyle and reached the netminder. He saw it, and he covers it.
Hey, Islander fans, your seat locations on the video board. You are the New York Opry Power.
Let's take a look at that H.H. Gregg high-def highlight. And that's the goal when you see that. A nice pass here. Carl get it on net. The rebound just dropped down. And Halak was so quick that Halak didn't have a chance to move. Here's a quick shot. There's Halak right there to pump it home. That's our H.H. Gregg high-def highlight.
Wishnowski credited with that power play goal for the Islanders. Moving it to Oposo. Now to Nielsen. He's open. Winds, fires. Shot disrupted as Kucherov got there in time from behind. Still the Islanders hold it in as Oposo bumped off the puck by Stroman. Stroman fires it ahead to Kucherov. It ends up with Hickey. Back for Grabowski. Stroman got a piece of it. Got a hold of him and pulled him off the puck. Will now get a penalty for a hold against Stroman at 5:16. And one thing the Lightning can't do is take a lot of penalties if they want to come back here.
Tampa number 6, minor penalty holding.
Well, so far they've had, this is their 6th power play, or penalty killing rather. So once when they really start to get their offense rolling, they'll take a penalty. 1 for 5. Now there's 6, but they also scored a shorthanded goal.
Tavares strong in the face-off circle all night. Nielsen to Wishnowski. Finds Tavares. 2 men in the slot. Now Nelson pulls off to the corner. Oposo's in the slot. Brock Nelson fires, and a skate save there by Schuster. Garrison trying to get it out. Schuster works against Oposo. Got Tavares controlling it. Finds Nielsen. Wishnowski shooting. Save. Nabokov scrambled onto the rebound, and Evgeny Nabokov covers it.
He's played very well, I think. You see that goal, that power play goal was a deflection. This one here, he comes in right out there, very aggressive, getting that angle cut down, and then quick to grab for that rebound.
Islanders win another faceoff. Leddy giving it now to Boychuk.
That faceoff switch has been a big difference too. The Islanders have been controlling that most of the night.
Strome gets the pass. Strome has a goal in this game. Ribowski's got a goal in this game. Boyle interrupts the passing pattern here. Carl gets some help. Penalty upcoming. It'll go against the Islanders. And that evens things out with 55 seconds to go in a Strome and penalty. Dennis Leroux talks with Bailey as he goes off.
Fire penalty, cross check.
That's what you don't want to have happen. You have a man advantage. There's the cross check from behind the net on Carl by Bailey. You have the man advantage. You don't want to end it with another penalty.
Well, 4-on-4, the Lightning have outscored their opposition 2-0 in this situation. The Islanders have been outscored 2-0 on the negative side. We'll see what develops here. Leddy gets to the puck. Checked by Barberio. Barberio centers, and Palat has it. Gives it now to Johnson. Garrison joining these three young players out there. Palat with it. Back for Garrison. He's trailed there by Strome. Well, the Islanders, when the Lightning were moving that puck around well in the Islanders zone late in the second period, they held their positions pretty well. They never gave the Lightning the opening they wanted. Here's a steal, though, by Johnson, curling it, looking for Palat just by him. We'll see how these teams handle this situation with the Lightning keeping the play in the zone.
They had a basketball lead going there right there for a while.
Johnson. Fired. Save by Halak. Took that high off the shoulder. Thomas Hickey controlling it. Out of the box comes Strowman. Lightning power play with a minute left on the Bailey penalty. Puck cleared down the ice. Third chance for Tampa Bay. Missing on the first two. Strowman staying out there. Now Callahan with a pass in his skates. Picked up by Nielsen. He'll miss the net. Strowman has it.
They've had 3 shots, but they've given up a shorthanded goal. That's what turned this game to play around.
Play held in by Matt Carl. Carl dealing it now for Stamkos. Callahan near the net. Strowman looked through that back door. He settles into the slot along with Filppula. Stamkos fights. Strowman in front. He couldn't handle the pass. It's cleared out. He was open, and he just couldn't get it to his backhand for the shot. Power play just about over. Callahan setting up in the zone. Bailey returns. Teams at full strength. Filppula. There's a shot by Gudas. It's blocked in front by Boychuk. Carl back for it. And Carl has lugged a lot of ice time here. Over 17 minutes of the first 40. The give and go. Killorn is stopped by Halak. With Jonathan Drouin working that give and go. Back comes Cizikas right up the middle. Roaring into the mock-off. He scores.
Turnover, and this is what we've seen so often in this building. As soon as they turn the puck over, you have at least one, if not 2 forwards just taking off for the other end, and they picked a perfect pass. Cizikas, what a shot, right in the top part of the net. Islanders have a 5-2 lead here. 8:55 the time of Cizikas' second goal. And a tremendous shot.
Well, that's been an energy line for the Islanders throughout the evening, and they produce a goal to reestablish that 3-goal advantage. Schuster ahead for Nemestikov. He's got Brown driving the net. Pass through and just out of the reach of Jonathan Drouin. Off the toe of his stick. Brown knocked to the boards. Schuster with it. Back for Brown. Slipped off his stick. Wisnowski there. Lost the puck. Brown on it. Cycles it back for Drouin. He tried to find Nemestikov, but John Tavares fared defensively. Clutterbuck gave it up. Schuster in front. Sends it just wide. Trying to get it out in front. That was blocked. Wow. Chris Stigman talks about pizzas with extra anchovies. Boy, there was one from Clutterbuck right there. And Schuster just about beat Halak on it.
Koster got the only assist. He's the one that fed that great outlet pass to Zizekas.
Johnson from coast to coast shooting. Halak to stop. Covers the puck. Lightning still peppering Yaroslav Halak, looking for the next goal. Milan has scored to cut it to 2. Zizekas makes it a 3-goal lead. Tonight's broadcast code of the game is Bishop. Visit LightningFanRewards.com on your phone, computer, or tablet and enter tonight's code and win points towards awesome gear from Sun Sports. There's the man himself.
Yeah, not a whole lot of room on that bench.
Especially for someone 6'7".
Yeah, it's the bullpen. So when you wish it down there, you go down there and say, you don't go to left hand or right hand there, you go tall guy. Just lift up tall guy. You want the tall guy in there.
We enjoyed your bench interview tonight. Actually, your interview outside the Lightning locker room tonight on the pregame show, Chief, with Andre Schuster. People got to realize with skates on, he's 7'1" as you're reaching up to interview. Here's a shot. In on Halak. It's under his pads. It just slips away to Nielsen.
See where Grabowski was? He was all the way up the Lightning blue line. As soon as that shot comes, the Islanders have done this for years. The play gets in there, and they get that one guy. They get him flying up the ice, and they hit him with that lob pass or a long pass. They've been pretty adept at it. I'm like 2K out there usually in every interview.
Here's Tavares flying into that Lightning zone. Meets up with Stroman, who rides him out. Gouldeman picks it up. In center. Brown has it. Lauren heads for the boards, but Leddy pinching in. Stroman takes it with under 9 minutes to go in the third. J.T. Brown flips it to the corner with his speed. He'll get in there first. Wojciech trying to contain him. Boyle controls the puck along the boards. Killorn takes on Wojciech.
And remember, the Lightning are one forward short. Paquette got hit on the foot early in the game and has returned.
And will not return to this game, so that's all we know about his situation. But certainly a hole for the Lightning up front, the way he's played in so many situations, Chief.
Exactly. It disrupts the line rotation as well.
Strome kept it on the line. Fires. Saved by Nabokov. Goodison had taken away behind the net. Controlled by Lee, a big body, as we talked about, 6'3", 227. Kucherov gave it up. Strome has it. Back to Wisnowski, trying to feed one through. It's blocked by Gudis. He's looking to send a couple of people off to the races. Barberio with a shot. And Hickey recovered to deflect it out of play. 7:42 to go in this third period with the Islanders in front by 3.
Let's take a look at tonight's Diamond Performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers. And it's Cal Clutterbuck shorthanded. Watch this excellent forechecking and just coming down that side and then ripped a shot up over top of the left shoulder of Nabokov. And that goal, that shorthanded goal by Clutterbuck started the slide. They scored 2 more in that period, and they scored 2 here in the third for that 5-2 lead, So Cal Clutterbuck, who did not play against the Lightning in Tampa, is our Diamond Performance of the game.
Lee hands the puck off. Strom is knocked down there by Palat. Wisnowski fires it back in. Palat with it. Trying to ease it in there for Kucherov. He'll catch up to it in the corner. Try to hook it back in front. It's tapped to the point. Garrison out of Palat. Fires in front. It's blocked by Hickey. Palat battles to hang on to it. Now works against Cizikas. Lee gets it out for the Islanders. Palat back for it. Hands it down to Johnson for another thrust. Throws it in behind to Kucherov. Quickly tried to center. He had Palat there. Just couldn't get the puck turned around for him. Hamonic digs in against him. Schuster operating in deep in that attacking zone. Keeps it moving to Palat. Out to the point. Pass reached Johnson. Fires, and it's tipped just wide off Kucherov's stick. That's what Johnson had in mind all along. That pass ever so slow, but it got past the Islanders' stick.
Exactly. He got a piece of it, but not enough to change the direction.
Gahan tried to center, could not. Carl takes it. Up the boards, it's tipped to the point and held in. Boychuk's shot is knocked down. Kucherov sidesteps the check. Valtteri Filppula will take it in the zone. Lost the handle on it. Stamkos finds Strawman. He'll walk it in. Lets the shot go. Slowed down by Lenny, and Halak will take a whistle with 6:02 remaining. The Coke Zero Pin Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 sodas, 2 collectible player pins for select home games. Packages start as low as $20. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. A whole row of Lightning fans behind Yaroslav Halak enjoying the action.
You ever see those Lightning jerseys more and more when you come up north?
Callahan turns with it, fires, it's off a stick and wide. I think we're going to start to see those back in black jerseys now.
Yeah.
Callahan. Checked by Boychuk. Stamkos trying to dig it free, squirted in front. Letty got it away. Callahan has it. Back for Filppula. Lightning have had many a good session in terms of zone time in the Islanders' zone. Here's Strawman winding, firing, and it's blocked in front by Boychuk. Carl keeps it down low.
We watch Boychuk. You know, that's that Boston mentality. He gets along the wall there. He takes everybody out of the play.
Stamkos stick handling. Backed up by Strawman, feeding it side of the goal. Taken by Filppula, tried to get it out in front. It was blocked by Halak. Strawman. When the Lightning have had the Islanders bottled up on a number of shifts. They've had a few open chances. They tried to spring Tavares there, and that pass got just tipped out of his reach. Carl angles it to Stamkos, and it bounced right back to Tavares off Hickey. Hickey to center. Udis working with Barberio. Around for Jonathan Drouin. Across for Killorn. Swept away by Hickey. Udis played it in. Lightning are offside. They've tagged up. Wishnowsky looks for Grabowski coming by. Nielsen takes it. Lightning have closed the gap. They've got 9 shots on the shot board in this third period. They had 9 in each of the first 2 periods. They got the puck here. Islanders with 7 shots. So 9-7 the shots in the third. Islanders close ranks, and Grabowski takes over. Wishnowsky hard off the boards to Oposo. Grabowski takes it, speeds in, cuts wide, forced to fire it wide as Nabokov came out hard against him. Killorn had it poked away by Clutterbuck. Killorn gets it back. Going to slip it behind Hamonic. He does, but Hamonic stays with Kucherov long enough to get some help. Nabokov stepping out to fire it up the boards. Finds Andre Palat. Johnson scampers through center. Hamonic lining him up for the hit. Johnson just moving at too quick a pace for that. DeHaan off the boards. Martin battling Schuster. Calvin DeHaan skates off with it. He'll backhand it in. We'll get an icing call. No, as Cizikas won the race. Martin bodied there by Palat. It comes back to Garrison. 3 minutes to go. And the Lightning staging that dramatic rally their last time in here 11 months ago. It's going to have to be a rally from 3 goals down tonight. Here's Strawman, a steal. finish the move. Disrupted by Schuster effectively from behind. Islanders try to hold it in. Garrison matched up with Lee. Garrison cancels out his stick. They both go down. Here's Boychuk down the boards. Going to walk it out in front. Feeding it to Lee. Shooting. And he sends it wide. Filppula angles it across to Callahan. Not appreciating the efforts of the Islanders in trying to protect this lead and close this game out. Nabokov on the pass ahead to Stamkos. A disturbance near the benches on a change. Now the players disperse. Hickey's got the puck. Tavares down the boards. Couldn't get a shot away. Strowman tied him up. Strowman spins away from Tavares. Carl plays it out to Vlad Namestnikov at center. He'll head up ice. Deals it to the corner. Drouin trying to catch up to it. Brock Nelson to center. Rick wide pass behind Kuhlman, and it trailed in behind him, and the play is offside.
I'll tell you, when you take a look now, Lightning really held that puck in the zone there for a while. Once the Islanders got it out, they did the same to the Lightning. They really were been forcing the play inside the Lightning zone. They've been really working it hard to not give the Lightning any opportunity to get back. And running off time on the clock. Minute 24 to go with a 3-goal lead for the Islanders.
We talk about Nabokov's homecoming. A homecoming certainly for John Cooper, who went to college at Hofstra. Played club hockey, quite a lacrosse star here. And it hasn't been a happy return to this point of the game. Brown into the zone. Overleading Boyle. Block tried to set it up for his defense. Now with under a minute to go. And the Lightning down 3 goals as Brown holding it in. And it's chopped down the ice by DeHaan. And this time we will get an icing call. Islanders had won 5 in a row coming into Tampa last weekend. That was their biggest winning streak since 2008. And after that loss, they're looking to get in the win column. And on their way to doing so, they got a 12-6. Here's a shot by Killorn, and saved by Halak. Alex Killorn's been a threat all night. And he's got one of the Lightning goals. Palat's got the other one. Here's Drouin into the zone. Cuts to the middle, leaving it for Schuster, and he gave it up as his try was impeded by Lee. Lee spinning, protecting the puck. Hands it off to Ryan Strome. Centers out in front. Foley is stopped by Nabokov. Boychuk. And behind the net. Anders Lee with it. Final 10 seconds. That drive hit Garrison in the foot. He's feeling that. Nabokov a save on Strome. Gets a whistle. 3.7 to play with the Lightning trailing 5-2.
After that, the officials both ended up on the ground there, the linesman. I don't know if he just fell or what, but...
Yeah, this will be only the second game in the last 11 that the Lightning have not been able to get a point.
Well, they'll jump on that plane and head up for Toronto for that game at least on Thursday. They'll have a day off tomorrow to recuperate. They'll come up the game against the division rival.
I think Martin's been given a misconduct of sorts, maybe just a minor. There's only 3.7 seconds to go. In any case, he's leaving. And has been shown the door by Dennis LaRue. And it will be a misconduct because no one's heading to the box.
Well, it looks like Costco was off. Yeah, well, why would be...
Okay, maybe they are going to have a minor penalty.
4-on-4.
Off the faceoff. Cizikas trying to curl it in front. Does as they try to work a play to Boychuk. And that'll do it for this one. Yaroslav Halak has now won 5 games in a row. And he's given up only 7 goals in that span. 5-2, the Islanders beat the Lightning. We'll continue with more from Nassau Coliseum.